Hello everybody, David here with Northwest Outdoor Adventures, back with another review video. Today we're going to be talking about my Suzuki DRZ400. My particular model is the S. I've had it for just over a year now, so I figured it's a good time to review it. So let's jump right into the bike specs. We've got front and rear disc brakes. It's carbureted, just under 400 cc's, liquid cooled. It is a 5-speed, unfortunately. Curb weight is 317 pounds, 2.6 gallon tank, and it's got a digital speedo, but no tachometer, unfortunately. The MSRP on this bike is $65.99 for the base model. So I'm going to break up this review into 4 different categories here. We're going to have handling and off-road, commutability and comfort, costs in miles per gallon, which will also kind of include maintenance, and then my own personal thoughts on this. And you can feel free to click on any one of those if you want to jump straight to that. Alright, so going into handling and off-road. I haven't ridden this bike that much off-road just because it's not that great of a bike to ride off-road, but I think for a dual-purpose bike, it really gets the job done, especially if you're looking for a starter enduro or something like that. I think it's great. Handling, you know, it's not the best, but it's not the worst. It's a pretty heavy bike, and it feels like it, but overall, you know, I feel pretty comfortable on it. It's not quite as lightweight and agile as any other bike that I've ridden, really, but it's still fun. It still gets the job done. But, you know, just be aware that the bike is kind of heavy, and it does feel like it. Moving on to commutability and comfort. This bike isn't particularly comfortable or that great for commuting, but again, just like with our last section, it's kind of in the middle here. The stock gearing definitely leaves something to be desired for highway riding. Anything over 60 really is kind of uncomfortable. You get around 50 miles per gallon, so it's reasonable. And it's definitely good for, you know, a mid-tier kind of enduro bike here, or for a starter bike. I mean, you definitely feel lack of power on the freeway with only having 5 gears, and you're constantly trying to get up in a 6 when there isn't one. So that's my only complaint with that. Overall, I did go on a trip recently with it, did a 1,000-mile trip around Crater Lake, and it held up pretty great. The only thing that I would really complain about, aside from the seat being pretty uncomfortable, which you should expect from, you know, most dirt bike enduros, any kind of a hybrid bike like this. So I will get an aftermarket seat, but it held up pretty well for the 1,000 miles, and just changing the gearing would do a lot for this bike. So as it comes stock, I would say it's pretty poor for highway riding, but it's manageable. Alright, moving on to cost/miles per gallon. So like I stated in the last section, 50 miles per gallon seems to be the average that a lot of people are getting with this bike, and that's about what I got. I would say that, you know, that's pretty reasonable for this bike. It's kind of what you would expect, so no big surprise there. As far as just maintaining the bike and everything like that, this is probably where it scores the best. I'll toss up the intervals here for, you know, what the manufacturer recommends for maintenance, but you know, it's nothing out of the ordinary. It's nothing crazy like some of the higher end supermotos and stuff. So it's pretty standard stuff here, and these things are built to last. They, you know, there's a reason that they haven't been changed for pretty much their inception. They seem to run forever, so that's probably my best thing about this bike that I like the most. It's just they can stand up to a lack of maintenance and stuff, to a degree, of course. So wrapping this up with my personal thoughts here. Overall, I really like this bike. It's probably my favorite bike I've ever owned, actually, even though it seems to not be that great in each individual category. Just as a whole, it's a really fun bike, and it's pretty much the same exact bike for the past, you know, over a decade. That parts are in abundance, there's tons of mods. It's a really fun bike to own. Even though it is a little heavy and a little slow, and it seems like it's just not quite there for everything, I really do like it, and so I would recommend this bike more than any other bike I've owned, probably, especially if you're looking for a dual sport. So just moving on, I guess, to the overall ratings, like I said, I'm kind of scoring it low for everything, but overall, I would kind of give it a little bit higher of a score, just because there are kind of the immeasurables or whatever that you might not see on the surface with this bike, that I do think it makes it really special, and you know, one of the reasons why so many people own this bike, and I definitely endorse this bike if you're looking for an enduro, or dual sport, or supermoto, or whatever. You know, check these out. Definitely go to a dealership and see if you like it. So that pretty much wraps up my review for this bike. If you want, you can check out my other reviews here. All different kinds of bikes here that I've reviewed, so go ahead and check those out if you want. Like I mentioned, I've also done that Crater Lake trip recently, so feel free to check those videos out. And other than that, feel free to visit our website or anything else. If you want to recommend a bike for me or my buddy to review, go ahead and let us know, and we'll look into it. So thanks for watching, I appreciate it, and happy riding, guys.